picture this. It's a Friday night.
Okay.
In a small town. A young girl heads out with friends.
Mm-hmm.
The sound of crickets and laughter filling the air.
Yeah.
It's the kind of place where,
Right.
everyone knows everyone and life moves at a slower, more familiar pace.
Right.
But what happens when that peace is shattered?
Mm.
When a young life vanishes without a trace?
Yeah.
Leaving behind only unanswered questions.
Right.
And a community grappling with the unthinkable.
Wow.
That's the story we're diving into today.
Okay.
The baffling disappearance of Kimberly Rymer, a 17-year-old from OP, Alabama.
What's so unsettling about this case is that it happened in a place where such things just weren't supposed to occur.
Right.
OP, Alabama, a small town where people leave their doors unlocked.
Yeah.
Where neighbors look out for each other and where a sense of safety is woven into the very fabric of life.
Right.
And yet in August of 1997, that sense of security was irrevocably broken.
Kimberly, or Kim as everyone called her, was a bright, promising young woman.
Yeah.
A star athlete. Excellent student.
Wow.
She was on track to head off to college.
Okay.
And pursue her dream of becoming a physical therapist. But those dreams were cut short.
Yeah.
Leaving behind a void that has haunted her family and friends for over 2 decades.
And that's precisely what we're going to try and understand today.
Okay.
We'll carefully examine the source material you've provided, dissecting the details, the evidence, and the various theories that have emerged over the years to see if we can shed light on this cold case that continues to grip the hearts of so many.
So let's go back to that August night in 1997.
Okay.
Kim's parents, Kenny and Sue, were divorced.
Right.
But they shared custody. Kim was living with her dad, Kenny, in OP at the time.
Okay.
With weekend and holiday visits to her mom. On that Friday night, Kim went to a softball game and then hung out with friends.
Yeah.
Her dad gave her an 11:30 p.m. curfew. Pretty typical for a teenager.
But here's where things take an interesting turn.
Okay.
Kim had a secret boyfriend, someone older.
Oh, wow.
In his 20s, whom her family was unaware of.
Oh, okay.
Her friends knew about him, though, and it turns out she spent that Friday night with him.
Okay.
He claimed she left his place around 11:30 p.m. to head home.
And it seems she did make it home.
Okay.
A neighbor reported seeing her car in the driveway around midnight. However, when Kenny woke up Sunday morning, Kim was gone.
Wow.
No sign of a struggle.
Oh.
Even her purse, shoes, and contact lenses.
Really?
Which she desperately needed because of her poor vision were still there.
This detail about the contact lens is particularly striking. Why would a young woman who could barely see without them choose to leave home without them? It suggests she didn't plan to leave and that something might have happened to her while she was at home.
It definitely raises red flags.
Yeah.
Initially, the police didn't suspect foul play because there were no obvious signs of forced entry.
Right.
And nothing seemed out of place.
Okay.
Except for a few details in Kim's bedroom.
Okay.
Pictures askew on the wall, a pillow found behind the headboard. It wasn't much, but it was enough to make them wonder.
These seemingly insignificant details, these subtle discrepancies, are often what investigators refer to as red flags. They might not be definitive proof of anything, but they raise questions. Prompting a closer examination of the circumstances surrounding the disappearance.
Adding to the mystery, Kim's mom, Sue, noticed something odd about the side door.
Okay.
Light shining through the doorknob.
Really?
She wondered if someone had tampered with the door. Perhaps forcing it open.
Remember, this was a small, close-knit community where the idea of someone breaking into a home and potentially harming a young girl was deeply unsettling. It simply wasn't something that was supposed to happen in OP.
The police began their investigation, interviewing Kim's friends and her secret boyfriend.
Okay.
He cooperated fully, seemed genuinely concerned, and even allowed the police to search his place.
Wow.
Everything seemed to check out.
So we have a young girl who vanishes without a trace. A secret boyfriend who seems to have an alibi. And a family desperately searching for answers.
Yeah.
It's a parent's worst nightmare, amplified by the fact that this happened in a place where such things were considered unimaginable.
And this nightmare was far from over.
Oh, no.
As the investigation continued, attention shifted to a surprising new person of interest.
Oh.
Jerry.
Okay.
The boyfriend of Kim's older sister, Kristen.
Hold on. The sister's boyfriend.
Yeah.
What led investigators to focus on him?
Did he have any connection to Kim? Well, they didn't have a close relationship. In fact, Kim found Jerry creepy.
Oh.
And Sue started noticing his odd behavior.
Okay.
In the aftermath of Kim's disappearance, he hovered around Kim's room.
Really?
Tried to cast suspicion on Kenny. And even told Sue he was planning to leave the area soon.
Those actions certainly raise suspicions.
Yeah.
A sudden desire to leave town after a crime,
Right.
especially when combined with other unusual behaviors, is definitely something investigators would scrutinize.
And remember,
yeah.
Jerry had a history of violence.
Okay.
Including assault charges and other criminal offenses.
Wow.
So it wasn't just a random hunch.
Right.
There was a pattern of behavior that made him a legitimate person of interest.
It's like a puzzle with the pieces slowly starting to emerge.
Right.
But remember, suspicion doesn't equal guilt.
Right.
Was there any concrete evidence linking Jerry to Kim's disappearance?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Jerry couldn't provide a solid alibi.
Okay.
For the crucial early hours of Saturday morning. But there wasn't enough evidence at the time to directly tie him to the scene.
Right.
However, a few things did come to light.
Okay.
For one,
yeah.
It turned out that Jerry had stolen a work truck.
Really?
From a previous employer.
Wow.
On the very night Kim disappeared.
A stolen truck, huh?
Yeah.
Now that's an intriguing detail.
Yeah.
Why would he steal a truck on that particular night?
Right.
Did this theft have anything to do with Kim's disappearance?
Well, a witness reported seeing a truck matching that description in the area.
Okay.
Around 5 a.m. Saturday morning. With 2 men inside.
Okay.
And get this.
Yeah.
Phone records revealed 3 calls made from the Rymer house to the Leonia area.
Okay.
Where Jerry was partying that night.
Right.
Around the same time the truck was spotted.
Okay. Now that's starting to paint a more compelling picture.
Yeah.
A stolen truck. A potential sighting near the time of Kim's disappearance. And calls made from her house to the area where the prime suspect was. It's all circumstantial.
Right.
But it definitely warrants further investigation.
And it gets even creepier.
Oh.
Those calls from the Rymer house didn't actually connect.
Really?
It's like someone was frantically dialing numbers.
Wow.
Maybe in a panic.
Yeah.
But couldn't get through.
Oh, wow.
Investigators at the time theorized that the misdialed numbers, coupled with the timing of the calls, suggested a heightened state of distress.
Oh.
Possibly even fear.
That detail sends chills down my spine.
Yeah.
Imagine the terror of trying to make a call.
Right.
Maybe for your life.
Yeah.
But being unable to dial the correct number.
Right.
It's a truly harrowing thought.
To add to the suspicion, the owner of the stolen truck said it was covered in mud when Jerry returned it.
Okay.
And here's the kicker.
Yeah.
There were muddy footprints on the ceiling.
Muddy footprints on the ceiling?
Yeah.
That's strange.
Right.
How did investigators interpret that?
That detail was particularly baffling.
Yeah.
It led investigators to believe that something violent or chaotic might have occurred inside the truck.
Okay.
Perhaps a struggle. Or maybe someone was trying to conceal something.
It's a plausible scenario, given Jerry's history of violence and his suspicious behavior after Kim's disappearance.
Right.
However, Sue believes something else happened.
Okay.
Based on secondhand accounts she heard. She thinks Kim might have been incapacitated somehow and then placed in the truck. What transpired after that?
Right.
Well, nobody knows.
2 terrifying possibilities.
Yeah.
A struggle at the house.
Right.
Or Kim being taken away in the truck.
Right.
Sadly, neither scenario leads to a happy ending.
No.
What followed was a massive search effort.
Okay.
That turned up empty.
Oh, wow.
They used cadaver dogs.
Specially trained to detect human remains.
Yeah.
Along with divers.
Okay.
And even infrared technology, which can detect heat signatures and variations in the ground.
Searching for a missing person in a rural area like that presents significant challenges.
Right.
You're dealing with vast stretches of land.
Yeah.
Dense woods. And numerous bodies of water. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Right.
And sadly, despite their best efforts, they never found Kim's body.
They drained ponds.
Yeah.
Investigated areas based on tips.
Right.
Nothing.
It's heartbreaking to think that Sue and her family were left with no answers.
Yeah.
No closure. Unable even to lay their daughter to rest.
It's a cruel twist of fate.
Yeah.
And to make matters worse, Jerry, despite being the prime suspect, was never charged in King's case.
Wow.
He did end up serving time in prison.
Okay.
But for unrelated charges. After his release, he returned to a seemingly normal life. It must be incredibly difficult for Kim's family to know that the person they believe responsible for their daughter's disappearance is out there living his life while they're still searching for answers and justice.
Right.
It's a wound that continues to ache even after all these years.
Absolutely.
However, there's still a glimmer of hope.
Okay.
In 2021, a grand jury was convened to investigate the case.
Okay.
And the district attorney hinted at new evidence that had come to light.
Really?
They were scheduled to reconvene, but haven't yet. This could mean they're close to finding something concrete.
Right.
Perhaps something that could finally lead to an arrest.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
The advancements in DNA technology have revolutionized cold case investigations.
Absolutely.
Evidence that was once considered inconclusive can now be re-examined, potentially revealing crucial new leads.
That's precisely what retired investigators Sunday and Agent Haley are currently doing. They're meticulously reviewing the case files, looking for any evidence that could be retested using these cutting-edge DNA techniques.
Yeah.
It's a long shot.
Right.
But every piece of evidence, no matter how small, could hold the key to finally solving this mystery and bringing peace to Kim's family.
Imagine you're in their shoes, poring over those old files, hoping to find that one crucial detail that everyone else missed.
Yeah.
It's painstaking work.
It is.
But the potential rewards are immense.
Absolutely.
Makes you wonder what could be hiding in those old case files. You know, like a tiny fiber, a hair, something that was overlooked years ago, but could now hold the key to unlocking the truth.
Exactly.
Right.
We've seen remarkable breakthroughs in forensic science in recent years. Techniques that were once unimaginable are now commonplace.
Yeah.
And they're breathing new life into cold cases that were once considered unsolvable.
So you're saying there's a real chance that something as small as a hair or a fiber, if it was preserved properly, could help identify who was involved in Kim's disappearance.
Precisely.
Wow.
And that's what makes the work that Investigator Sunday and Agent Haley are doing so crucial. They're meticulously examining every piece of evidence, looking for anything that could be retested using these advanced DNA technologies.
It's like a second chance.
It is.
A new opportunity to uncover the truth that has been hidden for so long.
And with the dedication of these investigators and the incredible advancements in forensic science, there's a real possibility that justice will finally be served for Kimberly Rymer and her family.
Speaking of the family, Sue has been incredibly vocal over the years, pleading for anyone with information to come forward.
Her unwavering determination to find her daughter is truly remarkable.
It is.
After 26 years, she hasn't given up hope. She still visits a pond where they searched for Kim.
Oh, wow.
Praying for answers.
It's a testament to the enduring power of a mother's love.
Absolutely.
We did reach out to Jerry for a comment.
Okay.
But he declined to discuss the case. Simply saying he keeps everyone involved in his prayers.
Oh, wow.
It's a vague response that doesn't offer much insight.
It's understandable that he might not want to talk about such a sensitive and potentially incriminating topic. However, his silence doesn't necessarily prove his guilt or innocence. It's up to the investigators to follow the evidence and see where it leads.
And speaking of the investigators, Investigator Sunday did something quite powerful.
Really?
He wrote a message directly to the person responsible for Kim's disappearance.
Oh, wow.
Urging them to come forward, to confess, and to find redemption.
That was a bold move.
It was.
To appeal directly to the conscience of the perpetrator. To acknowledge the guilt and torment they must be carrying. It's a message of hope, but also a call to accountability.
Absolutely.
Let's hear what Investigator Sunday had to say.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Here's the message.
To the one who took Kim, you know who you are. You know what you have done. If you are listening to this podcast, if you are continuing to follow this case, and I hope you will listen and heed to my message to you, You are the last one to have seen Kimberly Lauren Rymer. You are the last one to have heard her very last words. You know where she is. How often do the images of that night return to your memory and haunt you? How often do the sounds of that night ring in your ears? I believe the events of that night you've played and replayed so many times that they are so deeply embedded within the very depths of your mind. Do you still remember the path you took that night? Do you remember how you felt? You may have learned throughout the years to subdue those thoughts and images which seem to creep in. Maybe when you see Kim's picture, or you hear just the name Kim, you may have even asked God to forgive you of this terrible thing you did, and in your mind you've convinced yourself that God has done so. If this is what you believe, then you have lulled yourself into a false sense of forgiveness, a false sense of security, a false sense of salvation. For as long as Kim is missing, as long as her mother, sister, and friends are hurting, as long as they do not know where she is, your sin remains. But only you can change your eternal destiny. True confession to God means making things right with this family. It's time for you to bring Kim home to her family. Then you can work on the relationship between you and God.
Wow. Those are some powerful words.
They are.
Really makes you think about the weight of guilt.
Yeah.
The burden of a secret that's been carried for so long.
Absolutely.
But the question remains.
Right.
Will this message reach the person responsible? Will it be enough to break their silence and finally bring closure to this case?
Only time will tell.
Right.
But one thing is certain.
Yeah.
Kimberly Rymer's story will continue to be told. Her memory will live on.
Right.
And the search for answers will never cease.
So what does this all mean?
Right.
We have a case filled with twists and turns and unanswered questions.
Yeah.
A young girl vanishes without a trace. A prime suspect remains free.
Right.
And a family continues to grieve and search for answers after all these years.
It's a tragedy.
It is.
What stands out to me is the power of hope.
Yeah.
Even in the face of such overwhelming tragedy.
Right.
Sue's unwavering determination to find her daughter. The investigators' commitment to solving this cold case.
Yeah.
And Investigator Sunday's heartfelt message to the perpetrator. It all speaks to the enduring human spirit.
Right.
And the relentless pursuit of truth and justice.
I agree.
Yeah.
And this deep dive highlights something crucial.
Okay.
Even in a small town where everyone knows everyone,
right,
secrets can be kept. And the truth can remain hidden for decades.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder that beneath the surface of any community,
right,
there are often complexities and mysteries that we may never fully understand.
If you were investigating this case,
Yeah.
knowing what we know now, where would you focus your efforts? What piece of information stands out to you the most? What would you consider the most crucial lead?
These are excellent questions.
They are.
And I encourage everyone listening to ponder them.
Yeah.
This deep dive is about more than just presenting the facts.
Right.
It's about engaging your mind, sparking your curiosity, and encouraging you to think critically about the world around us.
And if you have any information,
yes,
even if it seems insignificant,
right,
please reach out to the Walton County Sheriff's Office or the Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers.
Absolutely.
Your tip could be the one that finally brings Kimberly home.
Remember, no detail is too small.
Right.
No piece of information is irrelevant. Your call could be the difference between a cold case remaining unsolved and a family finally finding the answers they desperately seek.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the disappearance of Kimberly Rymer.
Of course.
It's a case that continues to captivate and intrigue.
It does.
And we hope that one day justice will be served.
Until then, we must remember Kimberly, honor her memory, and never stop seeking the truth.